Today you can get a solid start on changing your habits. Hello, this is Ron Ovitt, Mr. Change Agent. Now notice I didn't say fast start. That would be easy to do. I could give you an inspirational article and say, here you go, good luck. Hey, and if you fail, well, that's your fault. But I don't believe in luck. I believe in strategy and sticking to it. And I don't believe in easy fixes. It takes time to change. That is why I call this a solid start. I want to make sure that you are planted on the solid ground, ready to go after the 6 steps for change that we're going to teach you and accomplish your habit change goal. You will go do that by preparing first and getting off to a right start. Now the 6-step solid start is based on my habit change blueprint. There are 6 steps to the blueprint. They are the habit goals that you want to strive for. Your team, tools, the do's, the don'ts, and the desires, the habit formula, and then managing your triggers. When we set out to make a change, it's important to know that there are 5 elements that work together to make a successful change habit. They are, first of all, you know in your heart you need to change. Without that, what good is it? 2, others have confirmed that you need to change and are pressuring you. 3, circumstances have shown you that it is better to change and stay doing what you're doing. You're motivated. 4, your desire for change is strong and motivated from inside you, not just outside. And then 5th, there is a new plan, a program, a tool, something that is novel that speaks to you and says, this is it. This could work. Hopefully this program will be that for you. I've always been fascinated with behavior. Perhaps it was because I was busy trying to figure out my own life. We all have our own normal. For me, it was full of anxiety. It was as if I was always on trial. I was in a pass-fail situation every day. I was a phobic child and had to deal with overcoming many different fears, phobias, IBS, dissociation, chronic worry, OCD. These were parts of my experiences. Even when I started the ministry, I was 20, I was functional, but I still had anxiety and depression. This created in me a strong empathy for those hurting. It seemed that I was drawn to many people that were suffering much like I was. My own issues and those of the people I was helping drove me to find answers to the complex questions behind emotional difficulties. I've spent a lifetime studying Christian spirituality, as well as both undergraduate and graduate classes in psychology. I've studied hundreds of books and attended many seminars. For the last 15 years, I've been working with people who are suffering from addictions, anxiety disorders, OCD, misophonia, PTSD, fetishes, and many different psychological disorders. This led me to create Emotional Resilience, Living with the Fruit of the Spirit, a year-long program teaching about the root causes of anxiety, depression, and addictions. Now personally, not only has this program helped many people quit their addictions and obsessive behavior, but I overcame many of my own long-term fears and phobias during the process myself. I have yet to meet many people struggling with addictions that did not have childhood trauma or shame and fear-based beliefs like I struggled with. The old saying goes, we medicate to regulate our emotions. Emotional recovery is what I've spent a lifetime learning about. I know this program works because it's worked with me and so many others throughout my ministry. Habits are at the base of everything we do. During my own journey, I've changed many of my own lifelong habits. When I was in my early 20s, I started a daily routine of running and lifting weights that lasted 30 years. But then due to a lower back issue, I stopped for 10 years. However, after working in addictions and studying the principles of habits that you will find in this study, I was able to start a new daily habit of cardio and strength training program all over again. A friend of mine joined Weight Watchers. I had gained 30 pounds during that 10 years and had a noticeable belly. I saw this low-carb, low-sugar program that I liked, and I decided to do it. I was able to severely reduce my sugar and carb intake and lost the 30 pounds and have kept it off for years. After decades of caffeine consumption, drinking Mountain Dew, later Diet Dew and Diet Coke, I stopped caffeine altogether. After a lifelong habit of biting my nails, I was able to stop in one day applying these principles. Between helping myself and working with so many with life-crippling habits, it has given me the confidence to bring this program to you. This is more than an academic exercise. Although you're going to learn a lot about the brain and trauma, emotions, attachment, and spirituality, it is something that works in real life. It has been taught, learned, and tested by hundreds of others in our program. You see, I'm a change agent. In December of 1995, Fast Company magazine came out with their second issue. Right from the start, I loved the magazine. It was an innovative, cutting edge, and was all about the new paradigm shifts that were happening in the business world. The issue had an article about a man who is what they called a change agent. It was the first time I had ever heard of the term. When I read the article, I had an epiphany. I knew that article was talking about me. All my life I had been involved in change. I had been used as a catalyst in many corporate visionings, ministry startups, and ministry development. For the last 20 years, I've studied the process of change and how it happens. I've led successful programs on addictions and emotional illness for the last 15 years. My goal has been to help people be their own change agent. Now, the purpose of this series on the 6 steps to change is to help you become your own change agent. No one can force you to take the principles of this study seriously. That's your choice. Even God will not force you to do something against your own will. You must be willing to change. It takes faith. Change is scary. It's difficult and it's hard, but it's necessary. We will equip you with the knowledge, tools, skills needed to make the changes. God will give you the strength, the power, and love needed to make the changes, but you must be willing to participate. This program is interactive. You need to read the material and answer all the questions. You may think, well, you have to be kidding me. That's a lot of work. I know, but we are not dealing with an easy issue here, are we? It has taken time to get where you are, and it will take time to make permanent changes. You must get engaged. There's an old saying in the AA realm that says, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And nothing will change if you do not dig in and get involved. So let's get started. What is your goal? What do you want to change? Step 1, what are your goals? It is surprising how many people try to stop or start a habit and never stop to think strategically about the goal that they're setting before them. Let's see if we can zero in on what it is you want to change. Number 1, be specific. What is the actual habit you want to add or take away from your life? Many times our goal is too general. For example, I want to start healthy habits. Okay, what does that mean? What habits does that affect? Exercise, eating, sleeping, reducing stress, or adding nutrition to your life? Be specific and write down your goal. Include the important details like what, when, where, and how long. An example, I want to start walking 30 minutes a day, Monday through Friday before 8 a.m. Here's another example. I want to eat a low-calorie salad for lunch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now this is important. You may be thinking, how many habits should I try to change at once? And we do that. We get excited, right? But I would recommend that you start slow. You want to succeed. Now you may have 5 habits that you either want to add to your life or take away. And that's great. We can get there. However, I would start with 1 or 2 just to build your confidence. In a few weeks, you can add more. Then in a little while, add more. You will be succeeding in all 5 before you know it. The goal is to enjoy the process and to succeed for a long duration. Not feel good because you start off with an aggressive program and then struggle to succeed. Get used to the system first and then add more. Number 2, what reasons do you want to drop this habit or start a new one? This is key. It will help you when the going gets tough. Write down what is your goal and why you want to pursue it. What are the rewards you will get from it? Write them down. Visualize it. Think about it. Number 3, be realistic. How difficult will it be? Is this your first time? Have you tried before and relapsed? Either way, as you think of this habit you're going to break or a new one you're going to add, rate the difficulty on a scale 1 to 5. 1 should be a snap. 5 will be very difficult. Now, I'm not saying don't do the hard ones. What I'm saying, it's good for you to know it so you can prepare. Get ready for it. Be realistic. Number 4, consider this. Do you need to start with a mini goal? A mini goal can help you get going. Here's my rule of thumb. If you are stopping a habit, jump all in. If you are adding a new habit, consider a mini goal. Stopping a habit, jump all in. It's difficult to wean yourself from a habit. If you drag it out over an extended period, it only continues the habit longer and keeps the craving coming. Your habit may be the exception, I understand, but most people are better off going cold turkey. Now, if you want to progressively wean yourself, then go into it with a schedule and stick to it. Don't fool yourself. For example, although I recommend going cold turkey and quit smoking, some people want to progressively wean themselves from smoking. In that case, I would say take your consumption and wean it off a little at a time for the first week. Pick different times other than the times you smoke and go then. Then become more aggressive. Make out a schedule and stick to it. If you are adding a new habit, consider a mini goal. Now, where a mini goal really works is when you're adding a new habit. When I first started running, my goal was to eventually run 3 or 4 miles a day. However, I started with a half a mile in the first day. After all, how far do you need to run to be a runner, right? In my mind, the first half a mile qualified me. So I began. The first few days I ran a quarter mile in one direction, rested for a few minutes, then ran back a quarter mile. I got stronger every day, and since that humble beginning, I've logged over 20,000 miles either running or walking. Now, what is the goal that you want to add? Start off with a small, achievable increment, then increase until you get to your goal. Now, here are some of the ways I approached my habits. With running, a mini goal, and worked my way up. With lifting weights, a mini goal. Lightweight, low reps, built my way up. Quit caffeine, cold turkey. Quit sugar and carbs, cold turkey. Quit biting my nails, cold turkey. Daily devotions, a mini goal. Read 1 chapter of the Bible a day, worked my way up. What is your goal? What would be a great starting mini goal? How long will you give yourself to get up to that goal? Think strategically. Number 5, PreLive It. It's what I call pre-live. It's an exercise where we imagine accomplishing the task at hand. We use all of our senses. We visualize it, hear it, taste it, feel it, touch it. Whatever senses we can incorporate, we use them to create a vivid and realistic vision of accomplishing the goal. The mind is good that way. The mind, why not practice over and over of accomplishing the goal? Number 6, consider any secondary habits. Now, creating a new habit or extinguishing an old one is not an easy task. It just doesn't happen by itself. It takes planning and preparation. Now that you know what your goal is, what could get in your way? There are many saboteurs waiting to trip you up. Many come in the form of what I call secondary habits. You see, most of the time, a habit doesn't sit still in isolation. It's surrounded with other habits that work in harmony with it. Consider the case of eating sugary treats. Ask yourself, when do you eat them? Where do you eat them? Who do you eat them with? What kind do you eat? What mood are you in when you crave them? What are you thinking when the craving hits? What are you believing when you try to resist? If you look over your answers to the questions that I just asked you, you will note that some of the answers are predictable and they're consistent. In other words, they're habits. Therefore, I call them secondary habits. It makes sense that if you can change some of these secondary habits, it will help you resist and overcome the habit you are seeking to change or add. For example, if you know when you are most likely to go for that sugary treat, plan a substitute treat for that time. If you know who you meet and eat with, try to get them on your team. See if they'll cooperate with you. If you know where it is you eat the treat all the time, you can change the location to somewhere less tempting. If you know what you are thinking or what kind of mood you are in before you indulge, you can find a better way to overcome those thoughts and feelings. So what secondary habits might you need to work on? Is there a who that is triggering you? What will you do about it? Is there a what? What will you do about that? Is there a when? What will you do to change that? Is there a why? Can you figure out how to solve the why another way? Is there a where? Can you substitute locations? Change your itinerary? If you need to stop a secondary habit and add a substitute habit, then make sure that you set this up as one of your goals. So there are some steps to help you with this. Please note, don't hurry through these steps. Please take the time to answer each question. It will help you overcome your cravings. And then let's go through all 6 steps together, and you'll be on your way to changing your habits.